Have you done any sort of like decorative shapes or elaborate cuttery of your bread prior to baking?
I did make a loaf of bread for my friend Ben once, and I sliced his name into the top of it. That's another thing that I do is that when you put it in the oven, like when it's on its platform, right before I put it in, I make like 3 slices on the top with a really sharp knife, and that allows it to expand really well. If you don't put cuts on it, sometimes like it's like um, it like ruptures out of the dough in a weird way. Like the bread will have its shape and then it's expanding faster than the bread can really take, and it'll just kind of like pop out in a weird spot, and then it's still bread, but it just looks kind of funny. So if you want your bread to look like that, you don't have to cut the slices in the top. I like to cut the slices in the top.
So we flour the bowl before we put the dough in. I feel like my dough's good now.
Okay, just a little bit. Yeah, don't go crazy, LB. Or go crazy. You like bleach. I don't know. Um,
A little.
that's great. That's great. The other thing that I'll do when I put it in the oven is just like pour a little bit of water in the oven and shut the door. The steam that it creates makes the crust crustier. So it'll be a little bit crunchier and harder. Again, that's not something that you have to do, but that's something that I like to do when I make
Do
bread.
you pour it like in the bottom of an oven or like in a pan underneath, similar to like a bain marie or something?
I've heard of people doing that. I just like toss it in the oven.
Okay.
Yep. What's the other thing that I was gonna say? Oh, in terms of when you know your bread is done, right? Because like I said, it might take a little bit longer or shorter than what I recommended. Is if you have a thermometer, like a meat thermometer or something else like that that you use for cooking, if you stick it into the middle of your loaf diagonally so that the thermometer is going in to like the center of the loaf, right? This is my loaf, like that. You should get up to 190 degrees. That's how you'll know it's done. You can also, I always had a hard time with this, so if it works for you, it works for you. Is you're supposed to tap the bottom, and it's supposed to sound hollow. I would do that, and I'd be like, I don't know if it sounds hollow, and it would be done. So I don't know.
Do you know if there's any sort of like wooden stick method with bread? Because I don't have a thermometer. I mean, I can try to, but like, you know how with like a lot of baked goods, you can stick it in like a wooden skewer and see if it sticks or not?
Yeah, you could try that. I mean, if it's not done, the dough in the middle will be sticky. So you could try that, and if it like, if you see goo on it, then that's goo. That's goo, not bread.
All right.
I'm trying to think of anything else. So just in terms of the amount of bread this makes too, this is the amount of bread that I make for my week to use for sandwiches. And it lasts me and my partner like 4 to 6 days, basically, depending on how much bread we're eating. So it'll last you a little bit. And oh, the pizza dough. If you do the pizza dough thing, which I highly recommend, if you're going to use it the next day, let it sit in the fridge overnight after it's risen for at least an hour. I can't remember what Dude says in the book, but it gives it like I think what he says is it gives it like a slightly more acidic flavor. And it's a little crunchier. And you can also freeze that. So if you're not using it the next day, you can stick your ball of pizza dough and put it in the freezer. I don't know how long it lasts for, but I usually like use them within 2 weeks because I like making pizza at home.